You are watching DD, the Defence Dynamics, and I am Danveer from New Delhi, connecting to our viewers from India and around the world. The week gone by has been fascinating with amazing developments in India's defence sector. While India's Defence Minister puts up an impressive statistics on indigenization, India has unveiled its light tank, the Zorawar, and that too in a very record time frame. Also, the news that Indian Army receives 35,000 made in India assault rifles, the AK-203s, adds it up. So in next half an hour, we will tell you why the statistics from India's Defence Minister, Mr. Rajnath Singh, should make every Indian proud. Our main story that should swell your chests with pride is that of India's light tank Zorawar. We will tell you everything you want to know about Zorawar, right from why the need was felt for this light tank to what capabilities this light tank comes with and what impact it is going to have in our standoff with the Chinese on the line of actual control. In other words, we will tell you why Zorawar is the best tank in the world in its category, and in addition to this, we will also tell you why AK-203 production in India is a major milestone. And lastly, it will be my take. Mr. Rajnath Singh, India's Defence Minister, has announced India recorded the highest ever annual defence production in year 2023-24, reaching rupees 1.3 lakh crores in terms of value. This represents 16.7% growth over the previous fiscal. This announcement comes with the unveiling of India's light tank Zorawar that has been built in record time, and also handing over of 35,000 AK-203 assault rifles to the Indian Army. Before we get into the details of Zorawar light tank, let's try and understand in simple terms what it means when India's Defence Minister says that Make in India is crossing new milestones.
DRDO has started the design cum production partnership model, and this is one example of a design cum production partnership. We will see many more such partnerships.
India has recorded the highest ever annual domestic defence production in 2023-24. It has reached a record high of rupees 1.3 lakh crores in terms of value, which represents a 16.7% growth over the previous fiscal. Out of the total value of production in 2023-24, 79% was contributed by defence PSUs and other PSUs manufacturing defence items, while around 21% was by the private sector. The data shows that in terms of absolute value, both defence PSUs and the private sector have recorded a steady growth in defence production. India's indigenization efforts have been pursued aggressively in last 10 years. This great achievement has been possible due to the policy reforms and initiatives, along with creating an environment for ease of doing business. These reforms in the past decade, with sharp focus on attaining self-reliance, has started to manifest itself in a big way. Moreover, India's increasing arms exports have also contributed to the overall growth in the defence production. These defense exports touched a high of rupees 21,083 crores in 2023-24, reflecting a growth of 32.5% over the last fiscal, when the figure was rupees 15,920 crores. In the last 5 years, the value of defense production has been increasing steadily, and this has shown a growth of over 60%.
As we all know, research and development of technologies are integral to Atmanirbharta in defense. The time has now come that the defense industry, research and development organizations, startups, academia come together and leverage capabilities of each other for development of modern defense technology so that India can be self-reliant in defense technologies as well.
Now coming on to the main news that is making lead headlines across Indian media is the amazing story of India's light tank Zorawar. This light tank, viewers, comes up in a record time of a flat 24 months from the word go. India's very own light tank designed under Project Zorawar for high altitude warfare in places like Eastern Ladakh and the Arunachal Pradesh is expected to be ready for induction into the army by year 2027. So, why was this need for the tank felt at the first place?
Nowhere in the world has a new product been deployed in such a short time. So it's a wonderful achievement for both DRDO and L&T.
The need for such tanks, each weighing around 25 tons, with a high power to weight ratio as well as superior firepower and protection, has been driven home by the continuing military confrontation with China in Eastern Ladakh. This is into its 5th year now. On the night of 14th-15th-2020, the Indian Army and the People's Liberation Army of China engaged in a deadly hand-to-hand combat in Galwan Valley in Ladakh in the western sector of the line of actual control, the de facto border between India and China. Soldiers attacked each other with iron rods and clubs, resulting in casualties on both the sides. The face-off was a turning point in Sino-Indian relations. It was the first time in 45 years that a clash along the line of actual control culminated in fatalities. India-China relations, which had been improving since 1962 border war, were severely ruptured. The Galwan clashes came amid growing tensions between Indian and the Chinese soldiers at the line of actual control in the preceding months. On the night of May 5th and 6th, 2020, Indian and the Chinese soldiers clashed at Pegongso Lake in Ladakh. Another skirmish followed 4 days later in Sikkim in the eastern sector of the border. This was a result of China's attempts to unilaterally alter the status quo along the line of actual control. Beginning in early April 2020, the PLA had been massing tens of thousands of soldiers along the line of actual control in Ladakh. Backed by Type 15 light tanks and armoured personnel carriers, the PLA troops confronted with the defending Indian troops. It was at this point, for the first time, when the need for a light tank that is swift, agile and has a better firepower arose. In the early June, amid rising tensions, military commanders of both sides did agree to pull back and create a buffer zone at Galwan Valley. However, the larger standoff still continues. The Chinese light tanks Type 15 could move through steep climbs along the line of actual control much more easily than Indian Army's heavyweight 40 to 50 ton T-72 and the T-90 tanks of the Russian origin. This had put Indian Army at a considerable disadvantage. Zorawar is agile and a versatile light tank. It is capable of operating in the most challenging environments in the whole world with minimal logistic support. When it comes to India, it can fight effectively in all types of terrain that India has to offer, especially the high altitude areas along the northern borders with the Chinese. The Zorawar is an Indian light tank design. It is designed to have high power to weight ratio along with substantial firepower, protection, surveillance and communication capabilities.
The power to weight ratio, which is very high, allows it to move at higher speeds and negotiate steeper gradients.
This tank has been jointly developed by the DRDO, that is Defence Research and Development Organization, along with its partner, the Larsons and the Tubro. Zorawar is a 25-ton light tank. Zorawar prototype is fitted with American Cummins 750/1000 horsepower engine. It is transportable in service aircrafts, rail, ships and road infrastructure. It has a crew of 3. The main gun is 105 mm smoothbore with elevation of 20 degrees and a depression of 10 degrees which traverse through 360 degrees. Zorawar is capable of firing a third or a higher generation gun tube launched anti-tank guided missile. It has high lethality and can fire both chemical energy and kinetic energy ammunitions.
The firepower, the density of air being very less, accuracy of conventional weapon ammunitions is always a concern. The gun tube launched missile system, which this tank has, makes it a very potent weapon.
Zorawar has high survivability through its active protection system, which is having both soft kill and hard kill options. Zorawar caters for counter measures to varied threats including top attack. This tank has passive protection in the frontal 60-degree arc. Another feature that makes it unique is its all-round protection including top and bottom. That is the STANAG Level 3 or NATO Standardization Agreement standards which are used worldwide as a measure of armored protection. Other types of protection that makes this light tank a formidable one in its category around the world is its hybrid composite armor protection against top attack ammunitions, modular explosive reactive armor, electronic offensive and defensive suit, that is electronic countermeasures, and electronic countermeasures, also known as ECCMs.
When you look at the protection, it has the state-of-art armor that has been deployed around it. And the electronics that have been fitted onto this tank will protect it very effectively from top attack munitions as well as drones.
Being a leader in its category, it is equipped with a missile warning system, laser warning system with directional smoke dispenser as a countermeasure. Further enhancing its battlefield survivability, it has a signature management. This technology used can suppress audio, visual, thermal and electromagnetic signatures at least by 25%. It can also counter remotely piloted ammunitions and armed drones.
It's indeed a momentous day for all of us to see the light tank in action. It makes me very happy and proud It's indeed an example where DRDO and industry, if it works together, what we can achieve.
Zorawar will undergo extensive trials for next 2 to 3 years in all types of terrains before their induction could begin in year 2027. Indian Army's case is for 354 tanks at a cost of rupees 17,500 crores. Once inducted, this will majorly add up to our offensive and defensive capabilities on our northern borders.
A light tank has been on the cards for the Indian Army for a very long time now, and the announcement of Zorawar is a very welcome one. Considering the terrain along the India-China border in the north, which is very high altitudes and very rugged mountains, the specs of Zorawar make it outscore any armored fighting vehicle that is in the Indian inventory at the moment. So let's look at the three major characteristics of this tank with regards to mobility, firepower, and protection. Its lightweight allows a better inter-theater mobility, that is, a strategic mobility. Its movement across long distances over air and land is much simpler and easier. The movement within the theater of operations is also very good. I'm sure, and the views are purely mine, Zorawar, when deployed on this terrain, will, with its quick speed and accurate firepower, will be much better than sheer weight and larger numbers.
Another fascinating news in matters defense has been the announcement of supply of 35,000 made in India AK-203 assault rifles. So here is a quick update. Adding to the success story of India's record defense production is the announcement just ahead of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Russia by Indo-Russian Rifles Private Limited. This is a joint venture between India and Russia, and they have announced the successful delivery of 35,000 AK-203 assault rifles to the Indian Army. It is a major milestone in India's defense production, aligned with the Make in India and Atma Bharat Abhiyan, or the Self-Reliant India program. This project includes technology transfer, and its concept includes 100% localization of AK-203 production. To achieve this milestone, all necessary equipment was shipped to Korwa Ordnance Factory in Amethi, Uttar Pradesh. The production facility has been fully equipped with state-of-the-art machinery and technology, enabling manufacturing of high-quality assault rifles. The collaboration between India and Russian entities have been instrumental in setting up these facilities. With the handing over of 35,000 AK-203 to the Army, infantryman's long wait is over. Now with this, here is my take. The conflict spectrum and geographical expanse of India, it underscores the paramount importance of self-reliance in ensuring lasting peace, freedom, and democracy. In the realms of geopolitics, foreign powers have often employed coercive tactics such as embargoes and sanctions at critical junctures, making a difference between victory and defeat. Now, given India's strategic position, diverse security challenges, and the imperative to modernize its armed forces, self-reliance in defense assumes critical significance. And with this, we come to an end of our episode. See you next week with new stories and their analysis. Thank you for watching, and do post your comments on social media with hashtag DD with Danvi. Goodbye and take care.